Your mind is the starting point of every change. Everything you desire, everything you dream of becoming begins in one place, your mind. Before your circumstances shift, before the opportunities arrive, before the world starts to notice your effort, the transformation must first happen inside you. The mind is the control room of your destiny. It decides what you see, how you interpret the world, and how you respond when life challenges you. Every great achievement humanity has ever known began not with money, not with talent, not even with luck, but with a single thought. A thought that whispered, "Maybe I can." It is that inner voice that sparks motion, that turns an idea into effort and effort into results. If you can learn to master that voice, to guide it instead of being guided by it, there is no limit to how far you can go. Too often, people believe change starts on the outside. They wait for a better job, a new opportunity, a stroke of luck, or someone to rescue them from their current situation. But here's the truth most never realize. Nothing changes externally until something changes internally. You can't start living differently while thinking the same way. You can't step into a higher version of yourself while carrying the same old doubts, fears, and limitations that held you back yesterday. The shift begins in the mind. The way you think creates the way you act, and the way you act shapes the life you live. When you begin to think with belief instead of fear, purpose instead of confusion, and strength instead of weakness, your entire energy shifts, and the world responds to that new energy. Your thoughts are like seeds. What you plant in your mind eventually grows into your reality. If you fill your head with negativity, self-doubt, and excuses, don't be surprised when your life reflects those same things back to you. But if you feed your mind with discipline, vision, and courage, you'll start to see opportunities you never noticed before. That's not magic, that's mindset. The mind has a way of filtering the world to match what it believes. If you believe you're capable, you start noticing doors you used to walk past. If you believe you're unworthy, those same doors might as well be invisible. When you wake up each day, the first battle isn't against the world, it's against your own thoughts. It's the voice that says, "You're tired, you can do it tomorrow," or "You'll never make it." That voice is subtle but powerful. It knows your weaknesses. It knows how to disguise fear as logic and doubt as realism. But when you train your mind to recognize that voice and respond with faith, when you tell yourself, "I've come too far to quit now," that's when you start to win. Your mind, when directed by purpose, becomes the greatest ally you'll ever have. It can take you from feeling hopeless to unstoppable. It can turn obstacles into lessons and failures into fuel. Changing your mind doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means seeing through a different lens. It means deciding that no matter what happens, you'll keep moving forward. It means replacing "why me" with "try me." When life gets hard, when people doubt you, when things fall apart, your strength will always come from how you think. If your mind collapses, everything else will too. But if your mind stays solid, your spirit stays unbreakable. Understand this, your reality follows your mentality. You can't live above the level of your thoughts. Every dream you've ever had is waiting for your belief to catch up. Every breakthrough is waiting for you to think differently, to speak differently, to act differently. Change doesn't begin when you get the chance. It begins when you decide you deserve the chance. And that decision starts right here, in your mind. You can't have a new life with an old mindset. One of the hardest truths to accept in life is that you cannot step into a new season while holding on to an old mentality. People want growth without discomfort, transformation without letting go, and progress without sacrifice. But life doesn't work that way. The person you are today is built from the habits, thoughts, and choices that brought you here. If you want something different, you must become someone different. Change doesn't ask for permission, it demands evolution. You can't build a new chapter while reading from the same old page. Your mindset must expand before your reality can evolve. The way you think determines the limits of what you experience, and until you rise above those limits, life will keep showing you the same lessons in different forms. Many people say they want change, but they keep clinging to the same thought patterns that hold them back. They dream of success, but continue to doubt themselves. They talk about peace, yet allow toxic influences to control their emotions. They wish for better relationships, but refuse to change the energy they bring into them. You can't pour new possibilities into an old container. If you keep recycling old fears, replaying past failures, and holding on to resentment, there will be no space for new blessings to enter. The old mindset has to go. The one that says, I can't. The one that whispers, I'm not ready. The one that finds comfort in excuses and fear. That old version of you might have survived, but it will not help you thrive. Every new level of life requires a new level of thinking. You can't walk into abundance while carrying the thoughts of lack. You can't chase your dreams while your mind keeps running back to what could go wrong. Growth begins when you challenge your own limitations, when you stop arguing for your weaknesses and start standing for your potential. The mind loves what's familiar, even when it's painful. That's why so many people stay stuck, not because they can't move forward, but because staying the same feels safer. Yet, safety is not the same as peace. Safety can keep you in a cage, while peace comes from freedom. The freedom to grow, to learn, to become. There comes a time when you must confront the old narratives that no longer serve you. Those voices that tell you, this is just how life is, or you're not good enough, or people like you never make it. Those are not truths. They are old stories written by fear. And as long as you believe them, they will keep writing your future. But when you start rewriting your inner dialogue, when you choose to believe that your past was preparation and not punishment, you begin to step into power. A changed mind is a reborn life. Think about it. Every breakthrough you've ever had started with one simple decision to think differently. The moment you said, I've had enough, or I deserve more, something inside you shifted. That shift wasn't just emotional, it was mental. It was your spirit awakening, reminding you that you were never meant to stay the same. You can't elevate your life while clinging to thoughts that keep you grounded in fear. You can't move toward light while choosing to stare at darkness. To move forward, you have to surrender control of who you were and embrace the uncertainty of who you're becoming. The old mindset will try to pull you back. It will whisper reminders of your past mistakes, feed you doubt, and tempt you to settle for less. But remember, every time you resist that pull, you grow stronger. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, faith over fear, gratitude over complaint, you are reprogramming your mind for a higher version of life. You are building new pathways of strength, confidence, and resilience. The new you doesn't just want change, the new you becomes change. So, when you feel stuck, when it seems like nothing is working, don't look at the world, look at your mindset. Ask yourself what thoughts you've been feeding, what patterns you've been repeating, and what truths you've been believing. Because transformation doesn't begin when your situation improves, it begins the moment your mindset shifts. You can't build a new life with an old way of thinking. The moment you release the old, the new begins to rise. Pain is a messenger, not a punishment. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, though it often arrives dressed as something we desperately try to avoid. We grow up believing that pain is a sign something is wrong, that it's a punishment for our mistakes or a curse that singles us out. But that's not true. Pain is not here to destroy you, it's here to develop you. It is the messenger of transformation, the voice that speaks when comfort has made you complacent, the signal that growth is demanding your attention. Every person who has ever risen from the ashes of failure, heartbreak, or loss has learned to stop running from pain and start listening to what it was trying to teach them. Because the truth is, pain doesn't show up without purpose. It shows up when something in your life or within yourself needs to change. There are seasons in life when everything feels heavy. You question why things had to happen the way they did, why certain people left, why certain dreams broke apart. and why you feel like no matter how hard you try, you're still not where you want to be. But maybe the pain you're feeling is not life's way of punishing you. Maybe it's life's way of preparing you. You can't become who you were created to be if you stay the same, and sometimes the only way to wake up your potential is through discomfort. Growth rarely feels gentle. It stretches you, challenges you, and breaks what's weak so that what's strong can emerge. When you're going through painful moments, it's easy to believe you're being buried, but more often, you're being planted. The darkness you're in now could be the soil for your greatest growth. Think back to your toughest moments. At the time, you might have felt lost, confused, or defeated. But didn't those moments also teach you resilience? Didn't they sharpen your character, reveal who your real friends were, and force you to find strength you didn't know you had? Pain has a strange way of revealing truth. It shows you what matters and what doesn't. It exposes the parts of you that need healing, the habits that no longer serve you, and the fears you must face if you want to move forward. You see, comfort hides your weaknesses, but pain reveals them. And only when they're revealed can they be healed. When you start to view pain as a messenger, everything changes. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That small shift in perspective transforms suffering into strength. Pain becomes a guide, a compass pointing you toward what you need to address, release, or rebuild. Sometimes pain tells you to let go of people who no longer align with your purpose. Sometimes it tells you to stop chasing validation from places that were never meant to approve you. Sometimes it simply tells you that you deserve more peace, more purpose, more love. But you'll never hear the message if all you do is resent the pain instead of understanding it. The strongest people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who avoided pain. They're the ones who walked through it and came out wiser. They learned that pain isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of transformation. It refines your perspective, humbles your pride, and forces you to rebuild with stronger foundations. Pain tears down illusions so truth can take root. It teaches patience, endurance, and empathy. When you've suffered, you learn to see others with softer eyes. You become less judgmental, more grateful, and more grounded. You begin to appreciate moments of peace because you know what it took to earn them. You can spend your life trying to escape pain, or you can decide to use it. Because once you understand that pain is a messenger, not a punishment, you stop fearing it. You start learning from it. You start transforming it into wisdom, courage, and clarity. The same fire that burns can also forge steel, and the same pain that breaks you can also build you. When you stop running from your pain and start listening to what it's telling you, that's when you begin to truly grow. Faith over fear. There comes a moment in every person's life when fear stands at the door of their next level and whispers, "You can't go through." It tells you that you're not ready, not strong enough, not worthy enough. Fear thrives in uncertainty. It feeds on doubt, on insecurity, on the memory of every failure you've ever had. It is the invisible chain that keeps so many from stepping into the life they were meant to live. But faith is what breaks that chain. Faith is the quiet strength that says, even if I can't see the path ahead, I'll take the first step anyway. Faith doesn't remove fear, it overpowers it. It doesn't guarantee that you won't stumble, but it guarantees that if you do, you'll have the strength to rise again. Fear and faith both demand belief, but one leads to limitation, the other to liberation. When you live by fear, you see obstacles everywhere. When you live by faith, you see opportunities. Fear tells you to retreat, faith tells you to rise. Fear tells you to protect what little you have. Faith tells you to believe there's more waiting for you. The difference between those who live average lives and those who live extraordinary ones often comes down to one thing: which voice they choose to listen to. Life will test you, circumstances will shake you, people will doubt you, and moments will come when you'll question everything. In those moments, you'll have to decide whether you let fear drive you into hiding or let faith push you forward into purpose. Faith is not pretending that everything is fine. It's believing that something good can come out of everything, even when it doesn't make sense. It's what gives you courage to walk through storms that would break others. It's the quiet conviction that there's meaning in the waiting, that there's strength being built in the silence, and that every delay is preparing you for something greater. Fear screams in your ear, faith whispers in your heart. And the whisper of faith will always be stronger than the noise of fear if you choose to listen. Many people let fear write their story because it feels safer to stay where they are than to risk what they could lose. They hide behind excuses, behind comfort, behind the illusion of control. But control is just fear wearing a mask. True freedom begins the moment you surrender the need to know everything and simply trust that what's ahead is worth the risk. Faith is not blind. It's visionary. It sees beyond what the eyes can see and believes that the impossible is only impossible until it's done. It's the same power that has carried dreamers, inventors, leaders, and survivors through situations that looked hopeless. They didn't wait for the fear to disappear. They moved forward despite it. You can't wait for the perfect moment to act because fear will always find a reason to hold you back. It will tell you that you don't have enough time, enough money, enough talent. But faith says, start with what you have, where you are, and the rest will come. Faith is a decision, not an emotion. You choose it every day, especially on the days when everything feels uncertain. When you trust that there's a purpose in every season, you start to walk differently. You stop begging for clarity and start walking in confidence. You stop saying, what if I fail? And start saying, what if I fly? A faith transforms your perception. When fear sees mountains, faith sees a climb. When fear sees failure, faith sees feedback. When fear says, you're alone, faith reminds you that you've never truly been by yourself. Faith is the fire that lights your path when everything else goes dark. It doesn't promise an easy road, but it promises that you'll never walk it empty-handed. Every step you take in faith adds strength to your spirit. Every time you move forward, even when you're scared, you teach your heart that courage is stronger than fear. In the end, fear limits your world, but faith expands it. Fear keeps your dreams trapped in your imagination, but faith brings them to life. Fear will always whisper the reasons why not, but faith will always shout the reason why you must. The life you want is waiting on the other side of fear, and the bridge that takes you there is built with faith. You may not know how everything will turn out, but if you trust the process, if you keep walking with belief in your heart, you'll realize that every step forward was worth it. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Dreams are beautiful. They are the spark that ignites your passion, the vision that gives you something to reach for, the whisper that tells you that you were made for more. But dreams, no matter how big, remain only imagination until discipline gives them structure. You can talk about your goals, visualize your future, and feel inspired by your ambitions, but until you build the habits that support those desires, they will never leave your mind. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It is the daily decision to show up even when motivation fades, to keep pushing even when no one is watching, and to choose progress over comfort again and again. Without discipline, dreams dissolve into wishes, and potential remains unrealized. Discipline doesn't feel glamorous. It's not about motivation or excitement, it's about commitment. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep, practicing your craft when no one applauds, staying consistent when results are slow. It's the grind behind the glory, the quiet effort behind every victory. Every great achievement you admire in someone else was built through countless moments of unseen discipline. The athlete training before sunrise, the student studying while others rest, the entrepreneur working late into the night. None of them rely on feelings, they rely on principles. Discipline is the foundation that carries your vision across the storms of distraction, disappointment, and doubt. You can't wait until you feel ready, because readiness rarely comes. Most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they stop when it gets hard. They confuse motivation with consistency. Motivation is the spark that gets you started. Discipline is the fire that keeps you going when the spark dies out. Success belongs to those who are willing to do what's necessary even when it's not convenient. When you commit to discipline, you tell the universe that you are serious about your purpose, that you are willing to pay the price that greatness demands. Every repetition, every sacrifice, every time you say no to comfort and yes to effort, you are building the bridge that connects your dreams to your reality. Discipline also teaches you patience. It reminds you that real change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to build something meaningful, and discipline is what allows you to endure the waiting season without giving up. Most people quit because they can't handle the silence between effort and reward. They want quick results, instant validation, fast success. But those who understand discipline know that consistency is what compounds results. Every small action adds up. Every day of effort creates momentum, and one day, everything you've worked for starts to show. Discipline turns the impossible into inevitable, not by luck, but by persistence. Discipline is not punishment, it's a form of love. It's you telling yourself, I deserve to reach my potential. It's the act of honoring your future self by making difficult choices today. When you choose to be disciplined, you are protecting your destiny from the distractions that try to steal it. You are guarding your focus from the noise of temptation. You are saying, I refuse to be average, I refuse to live by excuses, and I refuse to waste my purpose. It is through discipline that your character is forged, because discipline requires you to do what's right, not what's easy. Every time you practice discipline, you strengthen your willpower. You start to trust yourself. You begin to realize that you are capable of more than you thought. Discipline builds confidence because it proves that you can rely on your own consistency. The person who can control their actions, their focus, and their emotions holds the key to their own success. No matter how chaotic life becomes, discipline gives you stability. It's the quiet force that keeps you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. Discipline doesn't eliminate struggle, it transforms it. It teaches you to find peace in effort and pride in progress. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into lessons. It gives you the ability to keep walking forward when others turn back. Dreams inspire you, but discipline shapes you. Without discipline, dreams stay distant. With discipline, they become your daily reality, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you become stronger, more focused, and more relentless in pursuit of your purpose. Discipline is not just about doing, it's about becoming. And through discipline, you don't just chase the dream, you become the kind of person who can live it. Surround yourself with growth, not comfort. The people you surround yourself with shape more of your life than you realize. Your environment feeds your energy, molds your mindset, and influences the direction of your growth. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you spend your days around people who don't challenge you, who don't inspire you, who don't believe in something greater, that ambition will slowly fade. You become like the company you keep, not instantly, but gradually, subtly, almost invisibly. Their thoughts, habits, and attitudes begin to seep into your own until you start thinking and living at their level. That is why, if you want to grow, you must be intentional about who you allow into your space. Growth doesn't happen in comfort, and comfort is exactly what most people settle for. They surround themselves with people who make them feel good, not people who make them better. Growth demands that you step into environments where you are stretched, not praised, where you are challenged, not coddled, where people expect more from you than you expect from yourself. It's easy to stay where you are admired, where everyone agrees with you, where your effort is enough to impress the room. But those places rarely help you evolve. Real growth happens when you are around people who push you beyond your limits, who hold you accountable, who refuse to let you settle for mediocrity when they see greatness in you. Being around such people might make you uncomfortable, It might even expose your weaknesses. But that's exactly what you need, because you can't improve what you're unwilling to see, and you'll never see it if you're surrounded only by people who tell you what you want to hear. Comfortable environments breed complacency. They make you believe that staying the same is safe, that maintaining what you have is enough. But safety can be a trap disguised as peace. It keeps you from reaching for more, from taking risks, from becoming who you were meant to be. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to leave behind the circles that no longer match your direction. You have to outgrow conversations that revolve around complaining, blaming, and gossiping. You have to start seeking out people who speak the language of vision, discipline, and perseverance. People who make you rethink your excuses, who remind you of your potential, who talk about dreams as if they are within reach. Growth requires elevation, and elevation requires separation. It doesn't mean you look down on those who aren't growing. It means you choose to protect your purpose. You can love people deeply and still recognize that their mindset isn't healthy for your journey. You can care about them without allowing their energy to control yours. Surrounding yourself with growth doesn't mean surrounding yourself with perfection. It means choosing influence over comfort, challenge over convenience, alignment over approval. The right people won't always make you comfortable, but they will make you capable. They'll remind you who you are when you forget. They'll tell you the truth, even when it hurts, not because they want to break you, but because they want to see you rise. When you start walking with people who think bigger, dream higher, and move with purpose, you begin to evolve naturally. Their energy fuels your drive, their progress inspires your persistence, and their belief strengthens your own. You learn that growth is not about competition, it's about collaboration. Iron sharpens iron, and when you are surrounded by those who are growing, your sharp edges begin to shine again. You begin to think differently, act differently, and expect more from yourself because you see what's possible. There will be moments when choosing growth over comfort feels lonely. Not everyone will understand your journey. Some will say you've changed, and they'll be right, because you were supposed to. You weren't meant to stay stuck in the same patterns forever. Every step of growth will cost you something: comfort, familiarity, maybe even approval. But what you gain in return, strength, clarity, purpose, and freedom, will always be worth it. Growth is not about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. And to do that, you must surround yourself with people, places, and energy that demand your evolution, not your stagnation. Victory begins in the mind before it happens in reality. Every battle you face in life is fought twice. Once in your mind and once in the world. Before your feet ever step onto the field, your thoughts have already determined whether you'll rise or fall. Victory is not something that starts outside of you. It begins within you. Your mindset is the foundation upon which every success is built. The way you think shapes the way you move. The way you move shapes your habits, and your habits shape your destiny. You can't win on the outside while you're losing on the inside. You can't live like a champion if your thoughts keep telling you that you're unworthy of victory. Everything that happens in your life is a reflection of the battles you've either won or lost in your own head. There are people with incredible potential who never rise because their minds are trapped in self-doubt. They have the talent, the skill, the opportunity, but their thoughts betray them. They feed themselves fear instead of faith, excuses instead of effort, hesitation instead of hunger. They lose the fight long before it ever begins, not because they're incapable, but because they've convinced themselves they are. The mind is powerful, and it listens to every word you tell it. When you constantly say, "I can't," or "it's too hard," your mind believes you. It shuts down the pathways of possibility and blinds you from opportunities that are right in front of you. But when you train your mind to say, "I can, I will, I must," something shifts inside you. You awaken a strength that was always there, silent, waiting, ready to rise. Victory doesn't happen by accident. It happens by alignment. When your thoughts align with your purpose, when your beliefs align with your effort, when your inner dialogue aligns with your vision, the world begins to mirror that energy. The reason mindset matters so much is because your life moves in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. If you think in defeat, you'll attract defeat. If you think in victory, you'll begin to notice doors open that you never saw before. It's not because the world suddenly changes. It's because you do. A mind focused on winning finds solutions where others see problems. It stays calm under pressure, patient through delays, and resilient through pain. You must protect your mind as if your life depends on it, because it does. Guard it against negativity, against doubt, against the noise of those who don't see your vision. Too often, we let the voices of fear speak louder than the voice of faith. We replay our mistakes like a broken record while muting our moments of strength. You can't move forward if you keep reminding yourself of what went wrong. Your past failures are not prophecies of your future. They are lessons meant to sharpen your mind. Every time you fall and rise again, your mind grows stronger. Every time you push through fear, you're teaching your mind to choose courage over comfort. Every small victory within builds the mental armor needed for the greater victories ahead. The greatest athletes, leaders, and visionaries in the world all understand one truth. The mind gives up long before the body does. It's not the lack of strength that stops you, it's the lack of belief. When everything feels like it's falling apart, it's your mindset that decides whether you'll surrender or fight back. A mind anchored in faith can endure storms that others would crumble under. It sees beyond temporary pain to permanent purpose. It doesn't quit just because the results are slow. It keeps showing up because it knows that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. To live in victory, you must learn to see yourself as victorious long before you actually win. That doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment. It means believing that you are capable, worthy, and destined for more, even when your current reality doesn't reflect it yet. Your vision must live in your mind before it can live in the world. Speak it, think it, feel it until it becomes part of you. Because when your mind decides to win, your body, your action, your circumstances eventually follow. The victory you seek doesn't start with luck, money, or opportunity. It starts with a decision, a belief, a mental commitment that says, no matter what comes, I will not give up. I was built for this. And that is where every great victory begins.